Are there different types of interoperability? So, Simon, I'm going to start with you. How do we know what to use best?
So Liz, thank you. First of all, I'm very famous for oversimplifying things. So forgive me if you Wikipedia the word, you'll find that interoperability works for software and for military. And the classic example of interoperability is in the use of weapons. So there's about 3 calibers of bullets used across the world, 5.56, 7.62 and 9mm. And they all stem pretty much from the Kalashnikov being used as well, from the M16 and from what we use in the German rifles as well. So we ended up with our militaries across the world, which I'm not an advocate of, by the way, fighting, but they can go anywhere in the world and generally find the ammunition they can use. And if we go beyond that, we then look at aviation. We look at the language of the sky, which is the phonetic alphabet: Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Tango. Tango doesn't come after Foxtrot, by the way, for those of you that are English pedants. That's my mistake. We find that the language of the air is English. We find that air traffic control run out of Belgium is unified and standardized. Now, they're very much sovereign and jurisdiction-based things. They're governed by governments. We have David here from MasterCard. Probably the best example of interoperability for me is travel. Because if we look at the travel market, there is something called the Global Distribution System, and you want to travel and book a hotel, a flight, you want to book a taxi, you want to book a transfer, you can use one system which has aggregated and created a common way for you to communicate across all those barriers. So we've got 2 kinds of it for me. We've got ones that are governed by sovereign nations or governments or jurisdictions, and we've got ones that are driven by commercial demands as well. And the 2 of them never the twain shall cross. Because it's very, very rare you will find a government or a jurisdiction that wants to make a commercial entity unless they do it. And the final one I finish you off with is have a look at your passport. You can go to, I think it's 147 countries around the world today with a UK passport, whether you have the burgundy one or the blue one. You can swipe it and your details will come up on the screen instantly. So all those countries work the same way. So I hope for me that gives you an overview that interoperability isn't just about banking. It's not just about open banking, of which I'm probably the most vocal advocate on the planet of it. It's really about making things work in different places so it's easier for everybody.
I wish someone had told that to the officials at Schiphol Airport in Money 2020 and 2022, because they weren't having any of the British passports going through then. It was a bit of a punishment. But Lauren, I wanted to ask you as well about different types of interoperability, but how do you know what's best to use?
Interoperability is one of those words that we often use, but it can mean various different things to various different people. And I think from a payments perspective, we see it as this utopian vision, and we've been talking about it for the best part of 20, 30 years, and we still haven't achieved it. But I think there are various different types of interoperability. I think arguably from an open banking perspective, we're very much in the first phase, which is local interoperability, the exchange of data between different parties, but within a specific country or region. So I think, from a UK and European perspective, we're largely there to various different degrees of success. I think what we're starting to see now is we're moving into more industry vertical interoperability, where we're looking at different data sets across financial verticals, much more moving into open finance, so mortgage space, insurance space, and how do we integrate those different data sets together? And then finally, we're kind of looking at the kind of cross-border interoperability, which I think is the real utopia, multiple different data sets across multiple different jurisdictions. And that is much, much harder to achieve. And it's not just about standards, it's about regulatory interoperability, which I think, we'll come on to later in the panel.